Welcome to the NS9 Postgame show powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm Ryan. With me is Dreamy Eyes Neil. Neil, we're not giving away any Primanti sandwiches on another afternoon game against the Cardinals as the Pirates lose the series, lose today. What's up, Neil?
Not a whole lot. I had zero fun watching this game.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing redeemable about today.
Yeah, this was a classic game against the Cardinals that just didn't go the Pirates' way. Mm-hmm. They lose the series, and same old crap with the Cardinals. You know, that's this game sucked. There was nothing fun about this game, like you said.
No, like I don't care that it was technically close. I don't care it was technically like 3-3 for a lot of this. It was terrible. Terrible game. The offense looked dead. Mitch Keller struggled. None of it was good.
Yep. Well, before we get into it, let's talk Bet Online. Bet Online is your number one source for the NBA and NHL playoffs this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. The game started not too bad with, I thought Keller, 6-pitch first inning. Mm-hmm. He looked like the Mitch Keller we've been seeing pretty consistently. You know, still did go 6 innings today, but like you said, he wasn't great. But started off great in the first inning. The offense again against Lance Lynn just didn't look like they were going to get anything today off Lance Lynn, which was about right. I call this the ghost of Lance Lynn. Like he's just out there 37 years old pitching like he's this is 2014 and he's pitching for the Cardinals like no big deal. And it's just the Pirates get down early on the home run from Goldschmidt that Keller gives up, and then another ghost of Paul Goldschmidt, this Cardinals team is so weirdly constructed.
It's a bad Cardinals team. Like that's one of the frustrating things is that Lance Lynn isn't good. Paul Goldschmidt's been terrible this year. This is not a good Cardinals team, and we're pretty lifeless. I think these last 2 games. And that's what's so frustrating, you know. I was in a bad mood already seeing us like whiff at 92 miles an hour down the plate over and over again. Like we should have put up 6 runs on Lynn the way he was pitching today.
Yeah. And it's weird because their rotation's like ancient. Like Lynn is 37, Gibson's old, Sonny Gray's older. And then you have Arenado and Goldschmidt, who are like the only 2 like redeeming factors in the lineup. But like you said, Goldschmidt's been terrible this year. Of course, he hits a home run, so it doesn't even matter against the Pirates and the Cardinals. This game started off okay. Keller, the six pitch first inning. Then I was in a good mood, Neil. I was in a good mood today. Pirates were on. And then I watched Jack Sawinski up with a man on, 2 outs in the second inning. 3-1 count against Lance Lynn, who's just pumping fastballs in there. Like Neil Walker's in the booth saying he's just going to give you like 85% fastballs. It's 3-1. You know he's not going to want to walk another batter. What do you think's coming, Neil? A fastball down the middle, perhaps? 3-1, Sawinski, 92-mile-per-hour fastball down the middle, little up in the zone. Sawinski just swings right through it. Okay, he can't catch up to 92-mile-per-hour heat, whatever. 3-2 count. Again, he doesn't want to walk you. It's a fastball middle. He takes it. Strike 3, he's out.
No, Sawinski was awful, but we were going to talk a lot about Jack Sawinski because I am tired of him too. But that was the entire team today. No one could barrel up Lance Lynn, and that inning of where we scored 3 runs, that was off a bunch of walks.
Yeah.
It's not like we were killing.
And again, it was all one inning. It's the one inning Pirates offense. Mm-hmm. If they score it all, it always seems to be like just one inning. Boom, we'll put up a 2 or 3 or 4, and then that's it. Then they go back into a shell.
Mm-hmm. And then we could not hit a mediocre Cardinals bullpen. That was what was really distressing today. Is that I was not impressed with anyone who took the mound for the Cardinals. And they breezed through us like it was nothing. There was no pressure whatsoever. It was embarrassing. And Jack Sawinski's the highlight because not only does he take that 92 mile an hour down the middle, he also is so bad in the field, costing us runs because he has zero urgency in the field. He freezes up like a statue. And he can't field the position. I don't know what he's doing here.
Yeah. I didn't like, they sent Sawinski and Henry Davis down, which was what needed to happen. And we talked about it. Like, don't bring Davis back. We needed a catcher. I think most of us on the North Shore 9 said we didn't, don't bring him back yet. Let him figure it out in AAA. Let him get comfortable. Let him, where Sawinski, same thing. Like they call him back up entirely too soon. Both of them can hit AAA pitching. We know this, but they need to work on things. What Sawinski basically said he didn't work on anything or he wasn't working on anything. Like he's just going down there and crushing mediocre pitching. Well, he comes back up here and
crush it. That's the worst part.
he's doing the same thing here. Like it's just striking out a ton. Same thing with Henry Davis. Davis didn't play today, but it's the same garbage. And then Sawinski, like you said, he's getting like worse in the field. Was in left field today to start with Taylor in center. And it was just bad, but just the at bats, like you said, Lance Lynn, the guy's going to pump you fastballs and he's not pumping you fast fastballs. Like he's not throwing Paul Skeens 100. He's not throwing 99.
They're not even located well. Like they're not like it's not like he was painting the plate all day. Like he was just leaving it out over the middle of the plate and daring the Pirates to hit it today. And we refused to do it. I don't care that we technically got 3 earned runs off of him. It was awful. Like all of it was terrible. The only reason we got runs is because he hit him and he can't move fast enough. Like Brian Reynolds hit into the easiest double play ball you'll see in your life, and we got lucky.
Yeah, this is why I'm arguing with people in my mentions on Twitter about the Pirates are only a half game out of the wild card. They're right there, even though at last place all these teams are bunched up. I mean, this is a series, now you're playing divisional games, which, count for more pretty much because you're playing the teams that you're bunched up with. This is the same thing. They had no business losing that Blue Jays series. They had no business losing the Giants series. And now you lost the Cardinals series. And the Cardinals, like you said, it's a mediocre roster from top to bottom. And it's ancient, if anything. It's like you got some young guys in the lineup and then a lot of old guys in the rotation. But you shouldn't lose the series. And it's just... This is why I can't get on board with there's 90 some games left. They're bunched up. Like if they're right there in September, it's okay. Wouldn't you take a playoff spot if they get a third wild card at 80 and 82 or 500? Well, this is why I don't think they're going to be there because I just don't see how this lineup, I don't think they can hit enough. And then this middle relief, which we'll talk about it here soon. Stratton calls for the trainer and leaves the game. This middle relief, I just don't see how the Pirates are going to consistently stack wins, get on a winning streak here and there to get above 500 and actually get into the playoffs. So I just don't see it. There's no help coming from this lineup. Where's the help coming from?
You're hoping that half the guys find form again, basically.
That's what I mean. Like you're hoping that Davis figures it out. You're hoping that Hayes last year Hayes shows back up. But there's no
for Sawinski, there's not the offense isn't good. I mean, and the team's not good. Like that's the problem is that good teams, some baseball is hard. Sometimes you throw away bad games. It happens. Sometimes you have a giant series, but it keeps happening. It keeps happening over and over and over and over again at this team. It's like, oh yeah, we're only like a couple games out of a wild card, but if you keep throwing away games away like we do, it's going to come back and bite you. It's going to come back and bite. It's like, I don't care that it's June. This team should be over 500, but we keep losing winnable games. And
it's going to keep happening. Yeah, it's going to keep happening. Like you said, unless something changes or, like you said, 4 guys in the lineup just all of a sudden start figuring it out again, it's just going to keep happening. And, Jim made a good point on Starbucks earlier this week that, like, about the bullpen. We have 3 guys in the bullpen that you can pretty much rely on when the team has a lead. So if you go on like a 4 or 5 game win streak, obviously we know those guys can't pitch every game. And for the most time, when the Pirates are winning, it's a short lead. It's a 1-2 run game. So you need those guys pitching. Who's going to pitch in some of these wins when you're ripping off a 5 or 6 game win streak? Today you had Hunter Stratton in a 1-run ball game. You're down 1, but he's pitching. Then he calls for the trainer, and now you're rolling with Dennis Santana, who just came up. And I mean, it's just, I just don't see where they're going to be able to sustain a long winning streak. And we keep seeing these series where they just keep losing them.
They're not because, I saw the stat the other day, and it's crazy. Yesterday it came out. Codify tweeted this out. The Pirates have 3 wins this year when their pitcher does not have a quality start. 3 wins.
Right. Because we're only scoring 3-4 runs a game, if that.
Yeah. So unless Keller is the Keller of the last month, we aren't winning games because the offense is so bad. And even if it's within reach, this middle relief is going to, give up runs. And so, Keller wasn't great today. I think he was unlucky to give up 8 hits. Homer twice off his cutter. I really don't like his cutter, but he likes it. Keller should be allowed to go 6 innings, give up 4 runs, and not take the loss sometimes,
Right. and Keller's he's got 8 wins and it's June. That's like absurd for Pirate standards. So, he's pitched well this year, and he's had some good luck in that and run support as far. But like you said, like the first game of this series, Skeens pitches fabulous. And here we are, we have to win it in the extra innings because the offense did nothing. Like, it's just this lineup is doing a disservice to this Pirates pitching, the starting pitching anyway. And we keep seeing it. And like you said, I think Keller was fine today. Like, yeah, we've talked about the cutter before. Like, why is he throwing it? He's giving home runs off of it. He gave up 2 triples. The one literally against Fermin had, I think it was an expected batting average of 160, which again, that was when, Hayes missed into the line. It goes down in the left corner, hugs the wall. Swinsky just like watches it go by, runs like way too far into it, gets caught with it bouncing off the wall, going around him. So just none of it's good. Like I said, the Pirates don't excel. Their lineup's not good. Their defense isn't really good, and their middle relief isn't good. So like their fundamentals isn't good. So like I just can't. This isn't a good team. And that's why I keep going back. I'm arguing with people like, well, they're only a half game out of the wild card. Who cares? Like, they're under 500. What are we now? 4 games under, 5 games under?
4 games under.
Yeah, you lost the.
Like, you can thank our lucky stars that the National League is so bad, but at the same time, it reflects that this team can't take advantage of how bad it is. Like,
these are winnable games, winnable series, and they just keep letting them fall through their hands.
Yeah, and we could go and sweep Colorado over the weekend, and I wouldn't even be surprised. But if you can't do it against your own division, or if you can't beat this Cardinals team, you don't deserve to make the playoffs. Yeah. And I mean, the 1 inning of offense against this pitching staff isn't good enough.
But Neil, they took 2 or 3 against the Dodgers. We can win the playoffs.
They always take 2 or 3 from the Dodgers.
And that's the thing. Like, you can take, like, we have the starting pitching. We know what the potential there is for the Pirates, with that rotation. But the problem is doing it consistently where, like the other day, Skeens, and just there's no lineup. Nobody's hitting. And today, like Keller goes, Keller wasn't horrendous. He didn't get pulled in the second inning after getting shelled. Like he gave up 4 over 6 innings. Like at some point, they were in the game, but you just kind of knew that the lineup wasn't going to get anything going to get back in the game. Other teams come back and this lineup just doesn't come back at and it's just, and when they do, then the middle relief isn't there. And you need your shutdown 2-3 guys at the back of the bullpen to do the job every time you have a lead. It's just too much to ask. And, Neil, your boy Shelton is getting blasted in the comments. Everyone's saying fire Shelton, fire Shelton. Yeah. I was going to give you a second here to respond to that. But I mean, I'm even at this point, like I'm not a Shelton defender. I think he could have been gone. I don't think he's a good manager. But
We've had many arguments in the group chat about Shelton.
We have. But like at this point, I'm going to kind of defend him at this point. Like the guy doesn't have much to work with in this bullpen. Stratton, there he goes. He's calling for the trainer. He's injured. You got Ben Cherington, DFA and Ronzi. Then he's signing Jake Woodford and Dennis Santana and Luis Cessna. Like who? We're pulling up any guys that they can for this bullpen to try to find somebody. Like Shelton at some point, like I don't really know what he can really do.
Yeah, I mean,
at sometimes
I get the frustration with the lineup, and it wasn't a very good lineup today. At this point, I want Shelton to be fired, just so
there we go. We got Neil finally.
Just so people can like realize how little things will change after he's gone. Because we're just gonna keep yelling about the next guy. Which has been my point the entire time. But, like, it wasn't a good lineup. You can say, yeah, he should have pinch hit for some people there in the 9th. But ultimately, you have to use the guys that you have, right? You got to use these guys. And Shelton can only use the guys he has on his roster. And so when you are looking at, having 5 guys today have an OPS sub 600. What do you want? What do you want them to do?
Yeah,
Joe Torre couldn't make this offense good.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
No, I like I said, I'm with you on. See, that was reverse psychology there. I defended Shelton, and Neil said, "You know what? Go ahead and fire him."
I have been pretty consistent saying that you can go ahead and fire him because my point is that he's not. It doesn't matter because he's not the issue. Like the team's going to say the same. Like you cannot get away from the fact that Edward Olivares is the best hitter Ben Cherington got this offseason.
Yeah. My thing has been, I don't think Shelton is a good manager. And while, yes, if they fire him, would anything necessarily change tomorrow? Probably not. We don't know that because Shelton just continues to manage every day. But yeah, it's that unknown. Like you don't know. And the other thing is, you said like, yeah, the lineup, they're just not good guys. They're not good. Like Nick Gonzalez, yes, he's been great. I last post game I was on, I said move him up in the lineup. He should be batting ahead of Hayes today. Hayes comes out, he's batting leadoff. I don't know if he's trying to get a spark there. Let's move him around, try to get him in the leadoff spot, and maybe see some different pitches and start hitting. But yeah, Gonzalez sat today. We've learned from this organization they're gonna sit guys, get them the rest that they need. Apparently, this isn't 1984 where guys are playing every single day. So I'm not going to kill him in that aspect. It's just overall, it's just not a good team. Like they haven't been dealt a great hand thanks to this front office. And my whole thing has been, I'd like to see him fired just because I'd like there to be some accountability from somebody in this organization. They're clearly probably not going to get rid of Ben anytime soon. At least not until the end of the year, but probably not then either. But yeah, I just want to see some accountability from somebody and something to happen, even if it's Andy Haynes. But yeah, it's just this, even when this lineup has a decent day and we're like, oh, they're coming around. It's just not consistent enough. Like you said, there's so many sub 700 OPS guys in this lineup. They're not consistent.
Sub 600.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Sub 600. They're not consistent enough, and they're just not good. And then you send 2 of your guys down, Davis and Sawinski, and you rush them back up when you shouldn't have. And they both look the same. So I think Sawinski's getting worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a good team. And there's no help coming into minor leagues right now. Like there is no help.
No, not for hitting. Yeah,
Like,
not for anything actually.
I mean,
Ashcraft's the only
Ashcraft
pitcher.
might come up sometime, but no, like there is no help, and the roster as it stands is just not going to be good enough to do anything. Like, I'm sorry, you are playing Rasmani Grandal, Jack Sawinski, and Rowdy Tellez most days. Those are just three huge, massive drains in the lineup. I don't care if Rowdy Tellez has gotten on base these last couple of games. This offense is not major league level. It's not playoff level. And it's going to cost us many games to where I don't know if he finished with a better record than we did last year.
Yeah. I mean, look at this bottom of the lineup today. Triolo, Sawinski, Grandal, Taylor. I mean, it's just, and like I said, even if Gonzalez is in there, it's still bad, guys. And then, Rowdy's batting fifth. And Rowdy's been, like he said, he's been coming on. The MLB took away one of his hits the other day, which he loves to see that. But yeah, it's just, he's batting fifth. I mean, what are we doing here? It's just not enough. And you're losing games to teams you should beat. And hey, but they're 4 games under and they're right there in the wild card hunt, which is just more of an indictment of the MLB and where it's at. But yeah, there's nothing at Indy that's going to suddenly help out guys. And that's why I want to see a manager or a hitting coach change or something, because I don't know. Maybe it does a spark, but I think at this point, I've seen enough from all of it.
And I guess inconsistent. Like, my defense of Shelton has never been like, oh, I think this guy's like incredible. I just think he's the face that gets yelled at for things that happen above him.
Well, it is, yeah.
And
it's a tough position for sure.
I mean, and I don't think this team is over 500 with any other manager in baseball. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what managers really do, but I don't know how you are squeezing 6 more wins out of this team, currently speaking. Like, it's just a shame because there are some really talented pieces on this team.
Yeah.
And this could have been a year where you were celebrating things like the Nick Gonzalez breakout, the combined Jared Jones, Paul Skeens emergence in the rotation, 2 electric starting rookie pitchers. Even getting someone like Joey Bart, like a guy off the street who's coming in and playing well. And instead, we are 4 games under 500 in last place in the NL Central because the rest of this roster is just so badly constructed. It is.
Jim makes a good point, just a good stat in here. Not a good stat, a bad stat, but a good point. 0 extra base hits today for the Pirates off of Lance Lynn, 37-year-old ghost of Lance Lynn. I mean, he's pumping you 90, low 90s fastballs. I just, that's Sawinski at bat. Oh my God. How does he swing through that 92 mile per hour fastball? Then he knows it's coming. And then he looks at the next one.
He is like, I don't know. It's clear the confidence is not there. Like, it is clear that something, like, mentally, it's just not working with Jack Sawinski. And I don't think I've seen him look comfortable on the single at bat he's taken this year.
That's just at least in recent years with Jack, we've seen him get hot for a 2-3 week stretch. And you could, maybe the slumps that he went into was a little more bearable because he was hitting 4 home runs the other week and going on a hot tear. He's not even, I mean, we haven't seen any of that this year from him. He's been terrible. Henry Davis comes back up. He's striking out a ton. I mean, it's just, when we talked about this team in the offseason in spring, when everybody was hitting home runs, and it was, Jim calling for Jack Sawinski to have an unbelievable all-star season, the breakout. We talked about Henry Davis putting together a great, season. And it's just, nobody's doing it. We talked about Hayes building on from the season he had last year with him at the plate, and nothing of it can happen. I don't think CL. I don't think Jack can see the ball. Maybe he needs some glasses, get some contacts or something.
I don't even want to be too harsh on Hayes, just because, especially these last week, I feel like he's been hitting nothing but 100-mile-an-hour line drives that just find the glove of every center fielder.
It's fair. I mean, he's kind of like, yeah, that's what Kutch was doing, and then Kutch kind of they started falling for him. He's had a lot of, he's having the loud outs, as you would say, yeah.
Yeah, and so like it really just sucked because I think he should have had 3 hits today, and it's not happening for him. Maybe because it's not pulling the ball enough, which he never really has done in his career. But like Hayes is fine. It bothers me that people think like Cruz has like an attitude problem when he's here knocking in runs on the bum ankle. Cruz was good today, all things considered.
Right.
Like again,
yeah, he drove in too.
He drove in 2. He tied the game off a lefty, but no, there's not enough talent.
It's the one.
Brian Hayes on a good team would be batting 8th or 7th.
Yeah, and like you said, the one silver lining, I guess you could, or not silver lining, but just I guess like bright spot in this game is that they were down 3-0. They did come back and tie the game, like you said on Cruz's 2 RBI single. But that was it. I mean, like you said, besides walks and singles, in that 1 inning basically was when the runs came. That was it for the Pirates offense. And on a day where Keller wasn't his normal sharp self and gave up a couple home runs and a couple triples, the offense just wasn't good enough. But yeah, they did come back, but it's just they're not built to come back a bunch and come back and score 5, 6, 7 runs. They're just not going to do it very often. And it's frustrating because, like you said, the talent of these prospects are there. We know that we know that Paul Skeens is a phenom. Like we know that Jared Jones is good. Like, and it's just, you can't, you need more. You need more from the roster and the lineup and the middle relief. And I'm at a loss because I don't know where this is coming from. And I've done a lot of these the weekday afternoon games, Neil, and we haven't won too many of these afternoon games. So
we haven't won any weekday day games, have we?
I don't think. Like, I don't know if it's something. Usually, you'd say like, well, they're not seeing the ball, but it's like, dude, it's during the day. Like, you should see the ball better. So, like, if you just tuned into the Pirate games, like you just woke up from, you'd think we were back in the dead ball era, the way this team hits and pitches. It's just.
Let me put it this way: the offense is so bad that there's not a single offensive player with more WAR than Bailey Falter. Luis Ortiz is higher than everyone in WAR besides Brian Reynolds. And Marco Gonzalez is still in our top 12 for WAR. He hasn't pitched since April. This offense is so bad, and I cannot believe an actual major league front office decided that Michael A. Taylor, Yasmani Grandal, Edward Olivares, and Rowdy Tellez was good enough.
Right.
I don't know how that happened.
It was good enough because that was all they could afford, Neil. And that's what we've seen.
They could have allocated that money better. Like they lit $33 million on fire this offseason. Pretty much.
And they're not like we talked about with Rowdy, like they're not going to DFA anybody because they did pay those guys and they're just going to keep rolling with it. So it's like, hopefully, we saw Rowdy get a little bit of traction, I guess, hitting the ball and driving in runs, but they're just going to keep rolling with it. And, so Stratton's injury today, I mean, that didn't look promising. He comes in 1 run. We're down 1 run. He strikes out the first batter he faces and then calls for the trainer in the mid at bat. And I don't know. Does that look like an arm elbow issue? It didn't look promising.
No, it probably means he's gone for the season. It's really sad, but when pitchers leave games like that, usually it's something serious. I hope he's okay. He was like the best of our middle relief options, which is
not saying much,
not
but
great.
Right,
but
right.
No, I mean it sucks, especially for a team that needs even like somewhat competent relief pitching.
Yeah,
Hunter Stratton shouldn't be a blow, but it is.
Right.
I hope it's not as serious as it looks.
Yeah, and they would was it Stump that tweeted out earlier today about Ryder Ryan didn't have a jersey or something. So, we'll see what move comes down from there. But I mean, at this point, I don't know. Ryan might be staying at this point. Dennis Santana, did you like what you saw from him? He faced 2 batters, got the outs, was fine, but it's the Cardinals offense. But
it's a step up from Ben Heller. That's all I got.
that's true. Yeah, he didn't give up 5 runs in like a third of an inning, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, it looks like we're going to see some of these guys, and I can't believe Santana made 27 appearances with the Yankees this year. I was kind of surprised at that. With a 6 ERA.
I asked my Yankee friend about him, and he's like, he's on Ben Heller level, so I was expecting a lot worse. So we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, and they somebody mentions about the weekday games. Yeah, Cody got his first post-game win the other night. He did a night game. But yeah, I don't think they've won a weekday afternoon game because Cody and I have done most of them, and oh boy, it's ugly. So
let me ask you this, since I saw this. How many more wins does Jim Leyland give the Pirates?
I mean, like you said, we could talk about the value of managers. I don't know. 3.
I don't mean a serious discussion, but I'm like, maybe imagine trying to bring back Jim Leyland to try to get the spark going.
I'm surprised they haven't. Maybe they did it. Well, I mean, who knows? This management in this front office is, inept. But you would think they've hopefully have. I'm surprised they haven't like approached Leyland about like just coming on in like a front office role, like one of those front office advisor or like special assistant to the GM that they collect the paycheck probably and never you never really hear from or whatever. But I don't know, they could have approached Leyland and he just
I bet Leyland's content just enjoying his retirement.
He's content. He's content at the river slot machine, I'm sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anything else in this game? I mean,
no, I don't want to.
It sucked.
I don't want to think about this game again.
This was just the classic Pirates Cardinals series that if you're, or even at Neil's age or at my age, like you've seen enough of these series and games where you just know the Cardinals are going to come out on top. And
I think
they did again today.
I think in your life, you've probably seen more Pirates success over the Cardinals than I have, because I grew up when I was first exposed to baseball. It was prime Pujols era.
Yeah.
So
Pujols has like the best numbers in PNC Park history, I think.
Yeah, no, like my first baseball video game was MVP Baseball 2004 with Pujols on the cover, and so yeah, nice. No, I know the Cardinals too well, and I don't like them very much.
Yeah, we have to go like 2013 to 15 when like Kutch had the walk off against the Cardinals and stuff like that kind of success we had, but we were still behind them in the standings. It was still coming up. We played them in that the playoff series in 13 and lost to them. Like it's just. You just can't get ahead of those guys. And even now when this lineup is rolling out, Jose Fermin and Pedro Pages and Ciani and Burleson. Is that Nate Burleson? I don't know.
Alec Burleson.
Yeah, I know. It's like they still pull it out.
This Cardinals team isn't good, and we didn't do it.
Yep.
And it really speaks that as a Pirates fan, one of my best memories is that Polanco walk-off to go into the All-Star break in 15.
Yep.
Because I don't have a whole lot else.
Yeah, that's it, guys. But that's pretty much what I got. I mean, when early 90s, I was like, I was 8. I mean, I barely remember that. So it's like, and then by the time I got into it and was paying attention, they were bad again. So
fair enough. That's fair.
Ship Bonds was out of here, and so let's get out of here. Apologize, guys. We can't give away any sandwiches on an afternoon game again. Pirates dropped this game 3-4. Lose another series of the Cardinals. Rockies coming in this weekend. Tailgate, NS9 tailgate, June 22nd. That's next Saturday, Neil. It is quickly approaching. So
that's crazy. It's in a week.
Yeah, RSVP to get to guarantee a Primanti sandwich and everything. We'll be there, and the whole crew is going to be there. So it's going to be hot too that day. Hot.
Is the heat wave hitting Pittsburgh too? Because Virginia is about to get blasted next week.
It's supposed to be like low 90s, kind of like a Lance Lynn fastball.
Okay, beautiful
temperature. And then, but I don't know. I saw right now Saturday was looking like it was only in the 80s. So maybe we'll get a fresh,
All right, I'm going to bring my own personal tent because as Mike B was pointed out, the son and I don't agree.
There you go. All right. So thanks again, guys, for listening. Like, subscribe, check out our memberships. And yeah, that's about it. We'll see you guys later.
See you guys.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.